What's going on, everybody? This is Drew here. I want to welcome you all to a brand new episode of Phoenix Down. This is Phoenix Down episode number 95.1. And we are continuing our playthrough of Call of Cthulhu. Today I have with me Matt.
Hello.
And Anthony.
I'm here.
So, originally we were thinking of doing this as just a two-parter. I got kind of busy this week, and Matt was also a little behind originally. Now I think you're probably the farthest out of any of us.
Yeah, I would have finished it. I just wanted to save something for this coming week. So,
Right.
I think I finished maybe chapter 13. I'm in 14.
Okay, yeah, so you're at the end then. I've still got probably 4 more chapters to go. The second to last chapter, holy crap, that was very long. It just kept going.
Yep.
But yeah, it's going to end up being 3 episodes, which is okay. I mean, it's, it is what it is. We can have a shorter episode for the last one and then dive into our thoughts on this game, because I think we have a good amount of thoughts on this game. Because I feel like I won't say I feel like I'm playing this game wrong. I feel like I'm screwing myself out of stuff. If that means anything.
That's how I felt after you mentioned how you got into the warehouse.
Yeah, and I feel like it's like I haven't had many strange things happen, and I feel like it's because I decided to play the game a certain way. So I've lost a lot of sanity, but it's not from me not trying. So I have deliberately done things to make sure I did not lose sanity. So anytime I had the option to read a book that could possibly lower my sanity, I chose not to. Anytime...
Oh, I see. I have done all of those.
Okay.
Yeah, me too. I've done almost all of those.
Anytime I have had the option to speak to somebody in a language that I cannot comprehend, I chose not to.
I chose to do it.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. So maybe we will get different endings, because there's a bunch of stuff. I've had probably 6 or 7 things pop up saying, this will affect your destiny. And I'm like, okay, well, does that mean I'm getting the good destiny or the bad destiny? I can't tell. The thing is...
Yeah, it almost seems intentionally vague. It will affect it, but it doesn't tell you how.
Yeah, and that's my thing that I think is a good thing for this game, is that with Call of Cthulhu, you don't know, like, there is no hint at what this is going to do.
Yeah. And I almost get the sense that it's the opposite of what I expect, because I assume affect your destiny means worse. Maybe that's not true, but I get that sense. You're going deeper in. But then there's also... There's kind of the paired ideas that knowing more or more understanding should be good, but in this case it may not be. And so it's really, in my mind, it seems more like it's about being blissfully ignorant or painfully aware.
That's what I was under the impression of. Like, the more I learn about the elder gods, the worse it is, because you're losing your grip on reality.
Yeah, maybe worse for Edward Pierce, but maybe better for me.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see, because I'll talk about what happened with my stuff, which, to be honest with you, I don't see how it could possibly deviate, because this game seems rather linear.
That's what I said at the first recording.
That's true, but think about it. That instance right there. Think about it. That instance right there, where we all had a different way of getting into the warehouse, right? That was I would say a pseudo open worldish area. We haven't ran into that again.
Yeah, I would have said we did once in the hospital. I mean, it feels more linear, but it does also feel like there may have been hidden paths.
I feel like there was options on how to distract the guards, but I think we both got the exact same outcome to that.
Well, I mean, yeah, the gas leakage thing kind of irritated me because, like, it shouldn't have been leaking if Matt had done the chair, right? Like, that doesn't make any sense. The two things weren't related. But
Yeah, except that it's leaking constantly in this game.
yes, but, like, we overload it so it just starts pouring. Out. And I was like, it made more sense when we did it than it does with yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
and when you say you feel like you're missing things, do you take that as a negative for this game because you didn't have the option to see them, or do you take it as a positive in that it might induce replayability?
I feel like I feel like it's a negative because it's one of those things of, oh, I totally missed this, but I had no idea I could miss it. You know what I mean? It feels like I don't like hand-holding in this type of situation, but, you know, like if you play a Telltale game, you realize, you know, this decision is going to either this person's going to die or this person's going to die.
Or Infamous.
Or
right?
Yeah.
It's clear.
Exactly. And so it's just like, it feels like a game that way. In this one, I'm like, I'm just choosing something because this is how I role play it.
Yeah, the choices seem further apart in other games.
Yeah.
Like, the distance between them of this person dying or this person dying is much larger than I give him a little bit of attitude or I threaten him with a little bit of muscle. Well, what's the difference between those two exactly, right?
And then there's those are slightly inconsequential, but
are they?
Well, that's the thing. You don't know.
Yeah,
and that was my point. Like, it doesn't. Every choice is kind of presented as if they weigh the same, but some do and don't. Like, you know, some mean nothing overall, seemingly, and others seem like they will change the whole outcome of the game.
Exactly.
But they don't. You don't know that until after. Like, we all brought the cop with us. What happens if we don't bring the cop?
Exactly.
The later sequence doesn't seem to work, but would they have worked it in? Like, if you tell him, no, I don't need you, does he say, I'm coming anyways? Like, you know, it's this weird spot where I keep questioning, like, is this game really great, or is it just a really good facade?
Yeah, that's my question. We get another choice like that where, and I'm assuming everybody brought him with us. The guy who runs the bookstore.
Yep.
Did you bring him?
Bring him where?
That's the thing. That's what I was going to bring up. Was that so you decide to when you leave the bookstore, you run back into the all right. Let's hold off. Let's go chronologically through this game. The last thing we did was we wake up in the Hawkins Manor after being knocked out by poison gas again. Not particularly knowing how we got there, but after the big revelation of there's this guy with his eyes gouged out who gets killed by this invisible creature known as the Shambler, we need to go and investigate this guy.
And it does sound like, if I remember correctly, there's no real link to why you wake up in the mansion, but it does say in like the text box that Marie Colden, the other doctor, found you.
Yeah.
It just brought you there, and they decided to use it as a hideout. Whether that makes any sense, I don't know, but
yeah,
it did seem abrupt.
So you got Bradley and Colden.
Bradley, who's somehow alive.
Yeah, somehow alive. And we do mention that to him, and he's like, I don't know, my memory's all fuzzy right now. That I'm just like, all right, well.
Seems like quite the mystery, huh?
Yeah. But, so, we decide to go chase this lead of this guy who was obviously friends with Sarah Hawkins. He was also an art collector, and he fell in love with some of her strange occult paintings. So we decided to go and investigate his home. We run into his wife, who is there, and she is having a little powwow with Kat, the bootlegger. And while interviewing her, she tells us how this guy, her husband, became obsessed with this painting, and he went crazy, and she admitted him into the institution, and now he's dead. She's not very happy with the fact that we were also the last people to see him alive. So I tried to console her, and she seemed very mad about it.
I definitely at one point said, well, I didn't do it. I didn't kill him. Go talk to, the doctor with the goatee.
Yeah.
I'm like, I tried to soften the blow, and she told me to fuck off, basically.
That's essentially what she did to me. She said, here, just do whatever you want to do and just leave. I was like, all right, fine. So, wandering...
She's told me that she was trained in many different skills, like reading people, and she's like, I can tell you're lying, so... all right.
I'm not, but okay. So,
I was softening the blow. I was definitely lying.
Oh, I told her he was dead, and I told her how he died.
Oh, see, I did not.
Oh. But, so, before we go in to see this painting, we run into Kat. And ask her, what the hell are you doing here? And she says, well, she's wanting to sell all this creepy stuff, and we're offloading it for her. So, get a good look at that Shambler painting, because it's going to be gone after you leave. So, we go into the room where the art gallery, I should say, of the house. And all around, there are cases that have these strange ceremonial daggers in them. And he says the same thing every time you look at one. So I was like, okay, well, let me go and check out this painting.
Well, he does say something different on one specifically.
He does, but I didn't go around this entire place.
Yeah, I looked at maybe 3 of them, but not every one.
I looked at 2, and one of them happened to be the different one. And I'm like, well, clearly he said something very different about this deck. He went into far more detail about it. So I'm like, I'm going to assume this is special.
Yeah, see, I didn't get that.
Yeah, me either.
That being said, I didn't understand the concept when it came to, but whatever.
Yeah. So when we go and observe the picture of the Shambler, or the painting, I should say, stuff starts to happen. The lights go out, darkness surrounds us, and the Shambler monster himself, or herself, or whatever it is, comes out of the painting and begins to stalk us.
Which felt weird in this game because you're not often stalked.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta sneak around like the orderlies and stuff.
Yeah, but in this, like, I had seen that there were knives, so I'm like, alright, I'm gonna go back to the one that looked the most badass to me, and I'm gonna grab it, and I'm gonna stab this thing. And then I realized, I'm like, I don't know how to attack. What's the attack button?
Yes. So.
Yeah, same thing happened with me.
I picked it up, I tried to stab it, and I'm like, X, I guess?
I hit right trigger, and he does a little, like, defensive move thing.
Yep.
Why? Why would he do that? It doesn't do anything.
It does not do anything.
Fucking useless. Don't give me... Don't pretend like I have to time it off of his hit with a weird defensive move thing.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Fucking stupid.
I did that about 4 times.
I did
this
it...
loading screen.
I did it once and went, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, and I just looked it up because I'm not going to spend my time. I already was like, clearly I didn't grab. First of all, we've never put it together. I'm like, clearly I don't attack him, but like, I wouldn't have put it together. Like, you have to grab that special dagger. I'm like, well, now it makes sense of why he said something different. But I'm like, yeah.
What do I do with the special dagger now?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I would have never put those two together.
There's so many like variables to this. First, you got to get the right dagger. But now I'm like, okay, well, I got the right dagger. Can I stab it now? No. All right. So what do I do with the special dagger? You have to go and attack the freaking painting with it. So I mean, I was just like, what? I did this probably 8 times to where I was finally like, pause. Let me go look at that wonderful fact. And I was like, I never would have figured this out. So I just went and did it. It still caught me a couple of times while trying to get to the painting. But yeah, we take this special dagger and we stab the painting with it. It then banishes it back to the painting. And that is when we figure out these. How do we figure out that the bookstore owner was the guy selling these daggers?
I don't even fucking know, man.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I know Kat walked in. I don't think she told us, though, did she?
She may have. This cat walked in. She's like, "What are you doing? You're sitting on the, you're laying on the ground." Like, oh god.
Because you were about to stab your own hand, right?
Hand. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Because it was turning black.
Yeah.
And also, I think that the picture repaired itself, right?
Yes. This temporarily banished it back to the painting. So, I'm pretty sure Kat's the one that tells us, like, where to get these daggers. It's like, was that bookstore owner, the crazy guy that was at the bar? Yeah, that guy. So we decide to go check out the bookstore, which is the next chapter. And this chapter is where I said this does not make sense for Edward. So when we make it to the bookstore, it looks as if somebody has broken in. The window the window on the door has been broken, and it looks like somebody has cut themselves trying to open the door from the inside. And there's no one in the bookstore. So running around examining this, we can tell that this guy is really into occult stuff. And when we enter the back room, we do an investigation. And this is where I'm like, this does not make sense. So, as it stands, there is a painting on the wall. And when you open the painting, or, pull the painting from the wall, there's a safe. Okay? How does Pierce, in his investigation, somehow piece together that Charles Hawkins came in there and put something in the safe?
No, he tried to take something from the safe.
All right, well, there you go. How did he figure that out?
Fuck if I know, man.
He's just like, he just stares at the safe. He's like, Charles Hawkins was here. How? How do you know this?
No, the thing that it'd make, well, first of all, tentacle arm himself, I'm sure he could leave prints. But the issue is not, how did he know Charles Hawkins was here? How did he know that, oh my god, the wife's name?
Sarah
Hawkins. See, I knew it started with an S.A. Sarah Hawkins, like, how did he know Sarah Hawkins was there previously to put something in the safe?
Right.
And how did he know that the bookstore guy, owner, whatever, was there with her when the safe, like, you know what I mean? Like, that is the part where I was like, well.
He just knows. He's a master detective, apparently.
I just assume I missed it. And it was either something Kat said, or it was just something he saw the star with the eye in it, so, maybe he's linking it back to something.
Yeah. So we had to solve a puzzle to open the safe. We had to find a combination.
Wasn't terribly hard.
Not particularly, no. Just finding the stuff was annoying to me. Because I went back into that other room with the I don't know what's called, the sonograph?
Phonograph. Yep.
And I was like, I don't see what I'm supposed to be getting here. And then randomly I like crouched down and found something. I was like, God. But after solving the puzzle, we open the safe, and there is a book there. Which I should mention, there is a book in the bookstore itself that you can choose to read. And if you do, you lose sanity, and it says this will affect your destiny.
Yep.
I chose not to read it.
That. Well,
so, but with this special book that's in the safe, there is a strange aura to this book. It looks to be made out of human skin, and it's written in a strange language. People may think they have seen this from a movie called The Evil Dead. It's because it is the Necronomicon. They specifically say that.
Yep. Pretty classic.
Well, it's from H.P. Lovecraft originally.
Oh, I'm sure, but
yeah.
But as he opens the book to read it, he then goes through this weird interdimensional tunnel with a whole bunch of people in silhouettes.
As you do.
And when he reaches the end of the tunnel, he is now seeing through the eyes of another person. And that is when the next chapter begins. And he is seeing through the eyes of Dr. Colden as she is treating patients in the hospital.
Now, did anybody else think that it was us on the gurney?
I thought that this was in the past, yes.
Oh, no. See, I thought this was in the slight future. Like, we had jumped time a bit, and she was examining us after we touched the book. We were found unconscious or whatever and brought back to the hospital. That's what I thought was happening. Because it's not like you can tell who's on the table all that much.
True.
Yeah. It's a dark-haired man.
Yeah, with a beard, like us, and his clothes have now changed. Like, as you would if you're in a hospital. I was like, all right, I suppose that's us. And then she's examining and, like, apparently they're turning into something. Yeah. Like, their bones have no solidity anymore, and it's like there's something in his stomach.
She goes, he's mutating.
Yeah. Ugh. Sorry. Just odd. I'm having flashbacks to Uzumaki. Oh, thank you.
So, this part right here took a little while. In fact,
I did actually like this chapter.
I did too.
It was a good point-and-click game, but it was slow, and it didn't seem to move the plot along, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing it did was show what happened to Dr. Colden, and it was a plot device to make Pierce say, I gotta go. So, originally I thought that this was happening in the past, and this was basically what Dr. Colden was doing while Pierce was down there getting tortured, and she finds him, then brings him. I thought that's what we were going to lead up to, but it wasn't. This is actually happening currently as he's reading the book. So it's a lot of small puzzle solving stuff. It's like this woman won't let me go through the head doctor's office, so I gotta find a way to distract her. Gotta go turn on the water at the boiler room to make it overflow, and I'm just like, okay.
And then you throw boiling hot water in her face, and I'm kidding.
I was about to say, did you do that? Because
No, that would have been awesome.
yeah. It's just a bunch of puzzle solving right here.
And this is very unlike your first hospital visit, where it is sort of open in how you make your way through it. There's only one way to do this, right? You have to, everything, you have to turn on we all had to turn on the hot water. There's a couple steps to get there. Once you do that, you can now go tell the girl, to go and confront the nurse that's outside of the doctor's office. She runs off. Then you can enter in, and then you get to go downstairs, and that's it, basically.
Yeah. She gets captured by the main doctor.
Yeah.
Was it Fuller? Is that his name?
Sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Dr. Fuller. And Dr. Fuller injects her, and she passes out. And then we take back over Pierce. We go back into Pierce's mind, and he's like, "Oh God, I've got to go. I got to go to the institution. I got to find her." And as he's leaving the bookstore, the bookstore owner shows up and is pointing a gun at him. And yeah, we have to talk him down. And then you have the option. The option to take him with you or leave him. And I'm pretty sure everybody here took him with us.
No.
You did not?
No, I did not.
Okay. So, taking him with us. Do you know what happens when you take him with us?
No.
Absolutely nothing. He is not even in a cutscene. Yep. All we see is Pierce breaks into the institution, and he's now looking at the Dr. Fuller's desk and reading a paper, then puts it down and says, "Okay, I got to go to the basement."
You're fucking.
I don't remember what we said specifically. Might he have gone to the mansion to join the team there?
He may have. So
to our hideout.
After this, Anthony, is he now in the mansion with you guys?
Yeah, but he said he was going to go somewhere first, and then we'd meet up at the mansion or something like that. So it was not he said what he was going to do, and I'm like, cool, do whatever you need to, but don't come with me. Because I'm not gonna risk having someone else around this time. Wow, this is a fucking horseshit way to not have him in. Once asked, do you want me to come with you? Yes. Okay, I'll wait outside. What? What the fuck, man? That is so cheap.
All right.
All right.
What's the dude's name? It's a weird name, like Algernon or some bullshit like
Algernon.
that.
Algernon Drake.
Yeah.
Drake.
Which I like, because I was just talking to somebody about flowers for Algernon the other day,
yeah.
So I took him with me purely because he seems like a smart guy, and I like his name. That's it. Don't know more than that.
I have to know. I don't.
You have to use words.
The problem is that I looked up Call of Cthulhu taking Drake with you, and the only things that pop up are Call of Cthulhu endings. So I'm not.
I finally found the video of the sinking city in this.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a pain to look up, but I found it. Okay. But it was neat. It definitely would have been interesting at the beginning of the game, but I was like, all right, well, now that I've seen it, it doesn't really make an impact on anything except your sanity, which is just going to change the outcome of the game. So I don't know.
I don't know either. I guess maybe the ending, depending on if you bring him with you or not.
No, from my understanding, the endings are based around your stats. That's how it sounds, anyways. I don't know the endings. I just know that there's one that's literally you have to have full occult to get.
If that's the case, why doesn't it pop up every time you put points into something? This will affect your destiny.
Dude, fuck if, I don't know, man.
All right. So, yeah, I took him with me, but he wasn't with me. The end.
Yep. Not very helpful, Algernon.
Nope. So, we now break back into the institution, and we're trying to find Dr. Colden. But we creep into the madness.
Yep.
When we go down the stairs into the basement, or no, not even before we go into the basement, while we're going through the hallway of the hospital, we go into, I don't even know how to describe this. So
black world.
Yeah,
almost.
There's this darkened world, and there is this misty world, and it all depends.
One of them.
Oh, go ahead.
One of them is like you are in the real world still, because things are lit. You can kind of see around, and the other one is plunged purely into darkness, and you are completely safe when you are in the lit area, and you have like your lantern has like a purplish pinkish glow, but when you're using your green lantern, that is the one that is in pitch black, and your lantern actually runs out like it normally does. But you can't refill it, and you have to shine it on certain things. And the Shambler lives in that version of the world.
It feels like Silent Hill.
It's a little bit like that. And
Except that nowhere near as interesting.
The problem is that if you run out of oil in your lamp and your lamp goes out, the Shambler gets you.
And then you just reset, so...
Yep.
It didn't give you a game over? Doesn't it just like reset automatically?
No, it gives me a game over.
Oh, I thought it reset me. Maybe I got a game over. It was just quick to load.
Yeah. So yeah, we're having to solve these kind of like puzzles where you have to follow this kind of like guiding light trail that.
But the guiding light only exists in the darkened world, so you have to follow it. Get to a point, run back, switch lanterns, go through, open the door, which is the only puzzle in this game. But this game right now is opening doors by following. Honestly, you can wander around at first. Just open the door with the purple one. Eventually, you have to shine the light of the lantern onto walls that need to be lit
cleared
away.
Yeah.
Dissipated. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can go back, run through, and open a door, and then you run back and switch the lanterns. This isn't really much of a puzzle. It's just fucking stupid. Yeah. It's neat. It's weird as shit, but it's like, I was like, all right, well.
It's kind of how I feel about a lot of parts of this game. It's nice and atmospheric. It's really on theme. I feel for Pierce for having to go through it, but
is it fun?
Terribly interesting.
The problem is the concept of entering the Shambler's world or whatever, really fucking neat.
Yep.
Really neat.
Like the Upside Down.
And then it ends, and I went, what the fuck happened?
Well, there was that big jump scare.
The one, yeah.
What's the one jump scare?
You're at the end of the hallway, like you're about to go down into the basement, and then the Shambler just jumps out at you.
Right, yeah. It was when we got into the basement, though, is where this game got really fucking weird, and I was like, all right, man, but you got me back into this, like, fully.
Yeah.
So we go down into the basement, and we observe Dr. Fuller.
Well, we walk for a while, for sure.
Well, yeah. I had to go, like, down these large flight of stairs, and then Fuller is standing over a operating chair, and as he turns around, Dr. Colden is there, dead as a doornail. He's been doing some kind of weird experiments. It looks like she's been taxidermied.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little more than everyone else in the game, who also looks slightly reanimated.
That's true.
Or made of wood.
Yeah, or plastic, like Bradley. But, yeah. At this point, we have our big confrontation with him. I figured Pierce was just going to, like, murder him.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just figured, like, because it's not like we have this hardcore attachment to Dr. Colden.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen that way.
Did you not walk endlessly before this part?
No, it's after that.
It's after that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's after that. Because you start to lose your mind a little bit.
I thought it was as soon as we got downstairs.
All right. Well, we've covered the main part, I suppose. Yeah. We confront Doctor Bad Guy.
Fuller.
I don't give a shit. I hate to be like that, but it's like this game rides this thin line of me caring and not caring, and not once has any character other than Kat left a really good impression. Bradley's the only other one that I can remember the name of, because I watched him die and he's somehow still here. So
yeah, well, and Sarah, I mean, I can imagine how awful it would be to, like, have discovered whatever you've discovered through your paintings, and it's making you go crazy.
For sure, interesting character, but I don't find her memorable.
Yeah,
that's my problem.
It's like it's an interesting role, but not necessarily an interesting character that fills it.
Yes. Anyways, we like throw him to the ground. We are about to put a gun to his head, or we put a gun to his head, right?
Yeah.
And we're about to pull the trigger, and Dr. Colden pushes us aside. What? What the fuck? What? And then she's back on the table. Wait, who the fuck pushed us over then? Was that real even? I don't know. And Matt brings up a good point. I don't remember if it was before or after, but we have hallucinations around this part where we're walking down an infinite hallway.
Yep. We see ourselves in a padded cell.
And then we're in the padded cell.
Yeah.
Like,
when you turn around.
Yep. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, a little bit of Evil Within style switches.
Yeah.
And there's no exit, and you're just spiraling out of control. You're on the floor, and all of a sudden, there's an exit. And then you go through. Yeah, you're right, Matt. It is before, because you walk through, like, black nothingness into the room where Fuller is.
I thought that's where we were losing our mind. Then we ran into Sarah.
No. Well, we were losing our mind through all of this part. We don't come back right away. We don't come back until we see the painting on the wall, where it is clearly us holding a lantern.
Oh, yeah, and then it turns.
And then when he walks away, the figure that's clearly him is now facing the camera. And I was like, all right. And then we find Sarah Hawkins. She's alive, maybe. I don't know at this point. This has comic book logic. Anyone can be dead and alive simultaneously. So we talk to her, and yet this is the first time I could talk in Cthulhu speak. I don't know what to call it.
Elder speak? I don't know.
Elder speak? Yeah, that sounds good. Elder speak. And it doesn't tell you what he's going to say, but I didn't choose it.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I was like, I don't know what the fuck that is. I'm like, maybe I'll choose it after I said something. I'm like, oh, didn't get a choice to say anything else after. Cool.
Yeah. So Sarah is not dead. Maybe. She was taken captive by Dr. Fuller. and has been there being pretty much tortured this entire time. So we decide to get her out. And by doing so, we end up getting chased by some orderlies, I think.
Yeah, and it's weird because she's like, when you talk to her, she's like half coherent.
Yeah.
Like, she's not out of her mind, but like, she's saying stuff and you're like, what the fuck does that have to do with anything right now? Well, I didn't even say, but then it's like, clearly she's talking about someone, but you're like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this took on a mildly comical bent for me because all of a sudden we're running, and I'm like, I didn't see who we're running from, but I see Sarah running away, so I'm just going to follow her. And, you know, you're just running and running and running. I'm like, I don't know what I'm running from, but all right, let's keep going. Don't want to turn around.
Pretty sure it was
Nightmare
orderlies
logic,
chasing us.
Yeah, there's a cutscene where she stops and you have to walk into the room first. There's orderlies, and then she's already down the next hallway. I'm like, I guess I'm going that way.
Yeah.
Yep. And she bars the door, and out of nowhere, here comes Charles Hawkins. Mr. Tentacle Man.
Yeah.
And doesn't he say that he's the one who stashed Sarah in there?
Yes.
For safekeeping, basically? Keep her safe.
So, he is going on a tirade, talking about how you don't get it. I'm here to stop this from happening.
Man, you're half tentacle monster. I'm not going to believe anything you say. What the fuck?
Yeah. I did get excited here, though, because I'm like, ooh, we both want the same thing.
Yeah.
Maybe I can get this guy on my side. How cool would that be?
I tried that. It didn't work.
But, yeah.
So, I did try that as well, but it also put the seed of the thought in my mind that he was actually a good guy.
Yep.
And
or if not a good guy, at least had a somewhat pure motive of trying to protect
Fun
Sarah.
fact, I'm not trying to, throw up like just generalizations here, but if you are in a world where crazy shit's happening and the only person that's speaking truth is apparently, or maybe might be like the guy with actual tentacles growing off of him, I wouldn't believe him. I would just leave. No job's worth that shit.
Or in a crazy world, you got to out crazy.
exactly.
So sign up for the.
Clearly, you have to grow more tentacles.
So here's my theory, and I don't know if it's going to play out this way or not, but I think Charles Hawkins is the good guy. He may have done it in the wrong way. He realized that Sarah was being called by this Cthulhu thing, and he then started studying it, trying to figure out what the hell this thing is. It then ended up corrupting him, and he realized, I gotta stop this at all costs, because it's going to turn everything in this world into what I am. I think that's what's going to end up happening.
Maybe, man. My problem with that is like that's a lot of fill in the blanks with where they like everything's just a blank because they haven't established enough of what's going on in the world. The only thing that we've seen is there's three things. There's three things we've seen. A beached fucking whale, la-di-da. The guy mutating in the hospital. I'm not including Charles Hawkins in this because we're under the assumption, right? You're under the assumption he's doing the right thing or whatever. The one guy in the hospital that's mutating, okay, weird, and then a bunch of experiments in the basement of said hospital that guy was in. Like, I'm not saying you're wrong, and I unfortunately think you're right. I'm saying on a story basis, they have not done anything to imply that other than this moment, and that's really weak writing.
Well,
yeah.
Nothing up until this point would make you think that. And they're like, oh, but what if we did an M. Night Shyamalan twist? Like, no, those are bad. You can't just throw in a twist like that. You have to. Sorry?
I said earn it.
Yeah, you have to earn it. You have to. Foreshadow is probably too strong of a word, but you have to set the dominoes up to knock them over.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, and it's always awkward when there's a difference between a plot hole and just like we didn't explain it, and you're welcome to fill in your own gaps.
Yeah. Yeah, I could probably overlook a plot hole like the detective vision thing because enough weird shit's happening. But now you're at the point where it's like, yeah, you're probably right, Drew. This guy probably is the good guy, and we're gonna end up summoning the apocalypse because we let her out. But the way it was presented is pretty weak. I don't know how to feel other than that.
Okay.
I don't know.
I mean, sure.
It's just so momentary, like, oh yeah, but the guy, and it's kind of like the expected, like, well, the guy that looks monstrous was the good one all along. I'm like, I don't. You like, we're playing a game called Call of Cthulhu. We know Cthulhu is bad just because it's never good. And like, this guy literally looks like the thing where, this game is named after, and you're going to be like, but it's a good guy after all. Fuck off. Like, it's just... this moment is just so ham-fisted in general. Oh, he knew that we were escaping and came... Like, what? What a weird time.
So, yeah, I agree. For me, I feel like it depends what else they do with it. Because if that was his motive and, he was doing what he thought was right, well, maybe that explains why we've spent so much time in this hospital, because... he was maybe working with Fuller, maybe he needed this information that Fuller could get, or he was funding Fuller, or, it might tie back into a lot of the rationale of the game if they go down this path far enough. If they don't, and this is like, it's all meant to hinge on this scene, then I completely agree. If there's more to it that does get explained, I don't know, there's enough pieces here around the theme that, I can at least imagine a path that makes sense. I don't know if that's the path I'll take, but...
I think that they will explain it, because they finally gave us a little bit of backstory right after this. I would hope that they give a little bit more, and I think they will. Because, like, during this time, so we get attacked by him, and... like the place is on fire, and he's holding us up by his tentacle arms, like trying to choke us to death. And we do have the option of speaking Elder to him. Did anybody do this?
No, I didn't know what the Elder meant, so I never picked it.
Okay. So I did not.
Maybe that's a playthrough 2 option.
But so as he's holding us up, the poker that we used to open the valve or something, there was something we had to open. Sarah grabs it and stabs him through the freaking neck with it, and he dies.
Well, he doesn't die there though, right? She stabs him through the neck. He just pulls it out, and then goes after her. And then we stab him in the chest from the back, right?
Yeah.
Which doesn't really matter. But I just thought I thought it was funny that she comes up as the heroine here, stab him in the neck, and he just kind of shrugs it off and pulls it out.
I mean, he did get shot multiple times by. I guess he got shot multiple times by Bradley, including in the head. And didn't die?
Yeah.
The only way this whole thing works for me is if all this is not real.
Yeah.
And that's a really weak out. Well, it's just like it would at least explain why everything's happening and colliding at once. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I found her. Oh, her husband is here. the orderlies, it's the hospital, like everything, and then it would explain why we're always at the mansion, but it would be a really weak out in terms of writing. I don't know. Right now I'm like, this story isn't bad, but it's like, it's taking some easy paths, and I'm like, all right, I don't know how to feel about this.
Yeah. We'll see what happens.
Especially when, like, I feel like we have made enough different decisions between us to be this close together in story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alpha Protocol, this is not.
No.
And can I just say, I'm tired of villains. Like, this is now 2 games in a row we have played where the villain has to be like, and here was my plan all along. Like, all right.
Yeah, and that's actually one of my biggest issues with this game so far, is that generally it's only story for me, right? There's barely any gameplay. It's not clear how much impact these decisions make. So I'm expecting a good narrative, and for the most part I think it's there, but the villains are pretty weak so far. Fuller, Charles Hawkins, maybe he's got some extra dimensions here, but everybody just seems so one note.
Yeah. But after killing Charles Hawkins, we escape from the institution. It then burns down, and we go back to the mansion, or we wake up in the mansion from another nightmare.
Seems to keep happening.
Yeah. And that's when we start to... And this is all one chapter. Like, it just keeps going. I'm like, gosh, you'd think this would be a chapter break. So, we talk to pretty much everybody. Like, Bradley's there. I tell him about unfortunately, I do tell him about Dr. Colden.
I whisper sweet elder god nonsense into his ear.
Well, what did he say?
So I have a feeling when you say that stuff, you are tapping into some otherworldly force, because people just agree with you. So when you say that, it doesn't come out like
nonsense.
No, it comes out as words that it sounds like you're preaching to the person, which I suppose you are. And they kind of yeah, I see it your way. Really kind of odd way of handling situations. But everybody kind of just backs off. Yeah.
I don't know.
Is it because he's dead and he's been reanimated by Tentacle Man?
No, because Sarah Hawkins also does the same thing to some extent.
Well, she's clearly attuned.
Yeah, but...
If anyone is, she is, right?
I suppose, but again, the way it comes out is not... I don't know. I feel like everybody has... The thing is, the game implies that everybody here, feels it.
Yeah.
But to different extents, clearly, because a bunch of them are in a fucking madhouse. Well, not anymore. They're all dead, but... Hey, everybody, you're playing as a murderer in this game. You murdered a bunch of people by setting the hospital on fire.
Well, he does suffer the repercussions of that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
first we have to find an amulet.
Yep, got to find an amulet for the bookstore owner. He's like, that's the only thing that can protect us from this shambler thing.
And so we go around doing a treasure hunt with
scavenger
pictures.
hunt. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fine. It was 2 puzzles and then you're done, mind you.
Yeah.
Could have gone on a bit longer, but no. Did y'all watch the summoning ceremony thing?
I did. I reinvestigated the summoning.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's where I also got that more increased thought that Charles Hawkins was trying to stop this.
See, I got it as he was in on it, ready to burst the door down if something bad happened. Not that was what I thought he said. Or the main character said. Like I thought he was like, oh yeah, he's ready to burst in the door if the summoning goes wrong. Like I thought he was in on it. That's how I took it. Doesn't matter. That's how the Shambler comes at everybody.
Yep. Sarah summons it. I guess, does it mean to? Or means to?
Dude, I have no idea anymore.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I legitimately just have no idea.
But the consensus is that we got to stop this cult.
Yeah.
Because they're still trying to summon whatever it is that's out there. So, that's our next big game plan is we got to stop the cult. So, we kind of have to, we have to break off because something happens, but we also break off into pairs. Sarah wants to take care of this Shambler once and for all. While Pierce wants to... Well, Pierce originally wants to just get the hell out.
The smartest thing so far.
Because when I was talking to Sarah, he just kept saying, nope, we're going back to Boston. And she's like, nope, I'm not leaving until we take care of this. So they're like, okay, I guess we're stopping them. But our plan comes to a screeching halt when the police show up to the mansion and say that Edward Pierce, you're under arrest for arson. You burned down the hospital. Apparently there were a lot of people in there.
Helpless people.
Yeah.
I need a brief moment for anyone, and maybe you, I don't know how to do this, but like maybe you make that the cover of this Feedings Down there, Drew. What I just sent you is an artist rendition of a dimensional shambler that is not the one from this game, and it straight up just looks like a gigantic version of E.T.
I was about to say, it looks like E.T.
E.T. and a werewolf had a baby?
Yep.
I've looked up dimensional shambler because I'm like, we keep talking about it, and I'm like, maybe I'm wrong. And the way it's described is very similar to what is in this game. But again, it's like, the way Lovecraft described things was like, this is what you make out of the Shambler, not so much what the Shambler looks like. That's how I've always taken it. So, it's a little bit like, the painting of the Shambler is great. The paintings in this game are great. I love all the art. I think it's amazing. The 2D art, whoever did that, like, is a master of making creepy shit. But yeah, I was just curious. Like, I'm like, wonder what the Shambler's supposed to look like. And it's, from the sounds of it, it's supposed to be more like a humanoid version of The Thing, like John Carpenter's The Thing. So, yeah. I was just curious. And then, of course, yeah, we get fucking E.T. werewolf.
I'll make sure to send that to Ken, and he can use it.
Okay.
But yeah, so we get arrested for arson, and we are put in jail. So a few things happen. Sarah decides to go after the Shambler with the bookstore owner. What's that guy's name again?
Algernon Drake.
Drake. I'll just say Drake.
You don't want to say cool.
No. Because I'll forget. I'll say Algerian again. But
Algerian Drake.
Algerian Drake.
Oh, good.
So, dude, you ought to go back and listen to us do Danganronpa. Because I couldn't name anybody. I just named them as Swimmer Girl or Serial Killer Girl. So
I can't listen to those until I play those games.
Yeah, those are fantastic.
Yeah. And you certainly should.
Yes.
I have all 3 of them. But anyways.
Oh, they're so freaking good. When you finish Hotel Dusk, you need to play Danganronpa 1.
I probably will.
Okay, well.
I'm into detective stuff right now. Sorry, we're going off on tangents, but, we're going to be done this episode very quickly if we don't.
Yeah.
Because this part of the game really was linear, and there's not much to talk about. The thing is, this game has gotten me more to, this mixed with the timely release of Unsolved Mysteries, which everybody should watch at least 5 of the 6 episodes. You can skip the UFO one. I have been in a detective mood, and there's very few games I feel do a very good job of making me feel like a detective. Hotel Dusk is really doing that for me, but man, this game does it too. Not the clue finding stuff or the crime scene reenactment in my head, but the way he talks to people, it does make me feel a little bit like a private eye, which is not a common thing I get in video games. Generally, if you're going to play that, it's very set up. You do get different information out of people depending on your choices in this game. So I probably will play Danganronpa because I've been wanting to anyways, and I'm trying to kill off back catalog, and I probably won't join you for God of War. So,
okay, well.
Yeah.
I'd also love to hear your thoughts sometime, some way.
Oh yeah, I definitely will share them.
Yeah, absolutely. Because man, that was so. Oh man, what do I do? What do I do? So I have to so we did the first Danganronpa we did for November while Matt was away, and it was me and Jay, and I had for 2 episodes a foolproof theory, and there was something in that game that reinforced my theory. I said, I'm telling you, I know exactly what's going to happen. And of course, Jay had already played it, and I was completely wrong.
Yeah. I told you to watch a movie recently, and I'll just share it on here because fuck it, we've gone on some tangents. The Informer on Netflix. I'm just making sure it is called that. Yeah, it's on Netflix. You can rent it everywhere, pretty sure. It's starring Joel Kinnaman of The Killing, Rosamund Pike, Clive Owen, Common. The whole time I thought I knew where it was going to go. Don't watch the trailer, just watch the movie if you like crime dramas and thrillers. But fuck, dude, I was not expecting it to... Everything I thought was going to happen, they set up a bunch of shit. Big boy, red herrings everywhere. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, this is great. But I'm always trying to think, how is this going to turn up? So I like that fact that you're like, oh, Danganronpa's gonna fuck with me. Cool. Perfect.
Big time.
Yeah. And you know what? Funny enough, to throw this back into Call of Cthulhu, I don't feel like that at any point in this game. I don't have the desire to be to try to figure out what the fuck's going to be happening, because I don't feel like it's given me the desire to.
It doesn't feel structured that way.
So
exactly, I feel like it's futile to try and actually figure this out. Yeah.
Yeah. I get to play detective, but I don't feel like a detective. And I think it's a really well done play of detective, but in Hotel Dusk, no spoilers because I'm sure a bunch of people haven't played it. It's very, very fucking good right now. Amazingly good. There's a moment where you have to figure out what you can carry on your person. So you have the inventory system. You have to figure out what you can carry on your person, because if you're caught with certain items, it's a game over. Mm-hmm. So I have stuff that I have clearly lifted from parts of the hotel, and I had to put them back. And or stash them in my suitcase, because if I'm caught walking around with them, it's over. And it's there's a bunch of threads going on, but everybody's at the hotel for a reason, clearly. And there's clearly an overarching mystery, but it's like taking back seats because everybody's mystery is somehow threading into this. And like there's ways people could be connected to the main mystery. It's so well done, which makes it sadder that the sequel is Europe only, and I'm gonna end up paying like $100+ for the stupid fucking DS game to be imported. But whatever. It's just like I'm driven to see what happens next, purely out of curiosity. And in Call of Cthulhu, I'm just kind of like, I wonder what weird shit happens next. Like, can you make it weirder than like some of the shit I saw when like the fucking the best moment of this game is the scene we talked about this episode where you look through a window, it's you turn around and you're fucking in the room and you just start to fucking spiral. Like, oh fuck. But
all
right, sorry, we were going to jail.
No, that's good. It's good. Because we're
and I do agree that was the best part. Not just like what's happening to you, but the way they portray it, and the way that your reality shifts moment to moment.
Yeah, they do it a lot in, like you said, Matt, The Evil Within.
Another game series I need to play.
Oh man,
dude, it's purely time. It's like I either play a review game or I play my backlog. I have to make decisions. And I know you know.
Yeah, that's me. I mean, I have enough time to play Phoenix Down games. I haven't reviewed a game in 3 months.
We know.
Trust me, I know. But, yeah, so we go to jail. We're now in our prison cell. And we start to hear something.
Well, first of all, the officer's being a dick.
Well, yeah, and you have the option to be like, I even had the option, like I chose the option of saying, okay, I'll cooperate. Let's talk. And he's like, whatever, and just leaves.
Oh, wow. What a fucking, this game has the illusion of choice. All right, sorry, I had to do that. I had to get it out.
So anyway, we start to hear voices in our head. It is a deep, ominous voice. And the room begins to flood. You completely submerged underwater while still in this prison cell. And a shadowy figure, a silhouette of a man, walks up to you.
The Predator.
Yeah. That's what it looks like.
It looks like the Predator when he's in active camo.
Bingo. And
did you hear the voice beforehand?
No.
Oh, interesting.
I don't.
Matt, did you hear the voice beforehand?
Maybe I'm misremembering, though.
Have you heard the deep voice before at all in this game, Drew?
Yeah, I certainly have. A couple of times.
Maybe?
The voice, so I don't know if it's like based on your occult level or not, but the voice talks to you a couple times. Because he's contacted me before and I didn't know who the fuck it was. And yeah, he starts talking to me before the water starts to rise, if I'm correct.
Yep.
So,
he's calling you like the truth seeker and, don't you want to know the truth? And
yes.
Yeah.
So he is called Leviathan. And he is here to offer the knowledge to I don't know what. But he's offering,
which is kind of what makes it interesting.
Yeah.
Right? Because you don't know if the red pill or the blue pill is the right way to go here.
I told him I'm not allowed to talk to strangers. By that I mean...
Yeah, so you're underwater and you can't resist. and you can't speak. The only thing you can do is acknowledge that you do want the knowledge or refuse the knowledge. I chose to refuse.
Me too.
I definitely accepted.
Oh, there we go. There we go. So what does he say when you accept it?
I don't know. Something about the Oracle.
Okay. Well, he, I think he just basically says, fine, you refuse. This will affect you. And it's another one of those, this will affect your destiny things. We then cut to Sarah. In fact, I believe we're seeing through Sarah's eyes via Pierce.
I don't know anymore.
Because it was the same...
this is where it stopped.
Oh, it was the same graphic, basically.
Yeah.
The tunnel with a bunch of silhouettes.
Yeah, I don't know. I stopped here because I didn't know where we were stopping. I should have probably asked that, and I just haven't had time to.
Well, I did this.
You can go on and explore. You can spoil it because I don't give a shit.
I mean, well, we can stop right here. It's not that big of a deal.
Nah, we can keep going. I mean, like, at this point, like, this is the only chapter you played, right, Drew?
Yes, this is
Yeah,
where
so
I
let's
stopped
just go
right
into
at the
it.
end
Okay.
of this.
Let's just go into it.
Okay.
I can then purposely try to make different decisions if you both have chosen the same.
There's no decisions here, though.
Oh,
Yeah, this
well,
is just
then.
like an action chapter.
This is a boss fight.
Yeah, one boss fight.
All right, well, I'm going to say this in the nicest way possible. I fucking hate the action parts of this game.
Yeah.
I did find this one offensive, though.
No. I don't think it was...
None of them are offensive. They're just not fun.
I don't know. The first Shambler fight was pretty friggin' offensive. Like
Yeah.
I like you guys gave up real easy. I powered this for probably 20 minutes trying to figure this thing out. Like I died probably about 8 or 9 times at that fight, and I said, "Okay, fine. What is it? What am I doing wrong?"
See, I thought this fight was a lot better than that fight.
It was. So we take over as Sarah, and she has Drake with her. Drake has the amulet, and she is still determined to defeat this Shambler once and for all. So in order to find the Shambler, we first have to go find the painting. Where's the painting? Well, it's with the bootleggers because they're the ones selling the painting. So when we go to the bootleggers' lair, which is like in this cavernous area, we find all of them are dead. The Shambler has been let loose and is now running around killing people. The only person that escaped was Kat.
Probably unhappy we
The only named character survived. Surprise.
Yes. She actually screwed over one of her guys. She used him as bait and then closed the door on him. And then ran off.
Seems like that kind of person.
Yeah. Then ran off. So now we're stuck in this cavernous area with the Shambler. Drake creates a protective circle in the middle of the area, and he says that the Shambler is being able to teleport due to these glyphs that are on the ground. We have to go and destroy those glyphs, so that way it can't teleport.
By light blasting them.
Yes. So we have our handy-dandy lantern with us, and we have to go and search out these glyphs that are on the ground. There's 3 of them in all. We have to walk up to the glyph, stand in the glyph while it dissipates, and at that point the Shambler gets really upset and chases after you. You then have to run back to where Drake is standing in the protective circle. It can't get to us. During this time, we can also shine the light on him, and it will stun him for a few seconds, allowing us to run away. Doing so 3 times now it can't teleport. So then we have to lead it to the circle, the protective circle, and it now creates a trap. It can't escape. It's stuck in the trap, and we then have to banish it back to the painting. And in doing so, she throws it back into the painting, and everybody's like, "Yay, we did it. It's now stuck, trapped in the painting forever." And as everybody's celebrating right there, Sarah slowly stops and turns to the painting and realizes that it's calling to her. And she just can't control herself. And she reaches out to the painting and cut into the chapter.
It's been activated.
Yep.
Oh, for fuck's sakes. For fuck's sakes. Yeah.
That is the ending of the chapter. And where I stopped. No deviations whatsoever.
No. Alright, this is a trade-in. Like, I just can't. I can't play this game again. It's too long for a replay.
Yeah, it is.
Especially when most of it doesn't deviate.
But we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't know how many endings there are. I'm assuming
4.
There's 4 endings? Okay. So
I only stumbled upon that by accident when, like, because it's like, how to get all 4 endings. I'm like, well, thanks.
So, yeah, we'll finish it up next week, which shouldn't take us very long, I would assume. Hopefully in probably 2 hours. Matt, you've made it farther. From where I stopped, how much farther am I to where you are?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that surprised me a little bit in this game is that the chapters don't really just progressively get longer. I think the last 5 chapters here, they're only 20 minutes each, 25 minutes each. They're all, like, pretty quick.
All right, well, I guess that's something. They're trying to wrap it up, I think.
You do get a new gameplay experience.
Oh, you say that with what sounds like great cheer.
Well, it's almost comical. I don't really want to spoil it, but it's not a mechanically intensive game. Clearly, even when it kind of tries to be.
Oh no! Please God, tell me it's not shooting.
It is.
It is.
Oh.
It is.
Oh.
But
No.
So I know about this part. You don't move during it. It's a shooting gallery.
No, you move.
Oh, you do move? Okay.
Yeah. You have to go through like multiple levels shooting.
Oh, good.
But the comical thing is every single character is a one-shot kill.
Wait, that's realistic. That's realistic.
Every single character. Enemy.
It is realistic somewhat, I suppose. I don't know what he's firing, so...
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd call it realistic. I'd call it simplistic.
Well...
I'm not even sure you really need to aim. You could probably aim next to them and they would still kill you to death.
Is it like Ibn Battuta where he'll shoot a machine gun like behind him?
On. I will not... I will not you besmirch the name of Ibn Battuta.
God, Ibn Battuta, man.
Oh, man.
Yep. Okay. Well,
yeah, so this game is kind of spiraling out into something not as good as I thought it was going to be.
We'll
and I was
see.
entering this going, yeah, this is pretty mediocre. And then you were saying, like, oh, there's some weird stuff that happened early on. I'm like, wow, this is way more in depth. No, there isn't. All right.
Yeah, the high point of this game is us talking about it in the first recording when I imagined all the paths that we were going to talk about on this recording and never did.
Because even if I think the interesting thing would be, even if it led you to the same conclusion, the idea that they've worked out a lot of ways for you to accomplish the same goal is neat.
Yeah.
Right? That is what makes excuse me. Breath of the Wild interesting, because all those puzzle dungeons, like, there's multiple ways to, I mean, that whole game, there's multiple ways to work everything out, and it seems like everything's been thought of.
Divinity did that.
Divinity is another game, yeah, all those older RPGs do a pretty good job of that, even like Baldur's Gate and stuff.
Yeah. God, Divinity Original Sin 2. It's an amazing game.
How many ways are there off the island, Drew?
There's at least 7.
Yeah.
Your first mission is get off the island. How do you do that? There's at least 7 ways to do it.
So
that's cool.
I thought this was going to be like that, but not a hack and slash RPG, but a talky look around RPG. Like, I was interested in that, and it sounded like after our first episode, that's what we were going to get, and then we had just played too close to each other. And from the sounds of it, it doesn't matter how far you try to deviate. There's a very linear path that we were playing, and there's no deviation in certain parts, which sucks.
Yeah. Well, and the other really interesting part was that we didn't even realize we did miss things.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool, thinking that it was linear and having been on a slightly different linear path.
And it's kind of like heartbreaking knowing that we did that mission as Colden, and that is like the way you get it. Like, there doesn't seem to be any other option. Like, I wandered around. I don't know how you'd get into that office otherwise. You have to get that doctor away. That's the only way to do it.
Yeah. I feel like the problem is they wanted to make a game that deviated like that, like a tabletop RPG, but the story got in the way.
The story's not that great.
Well, I mean, they obviously are trying to tell a story here. So,
M. Night Shyamalan tries to tell stories. It doesn't mean they're good.
Okay, don't bash some of that stuff. Some of his stuff is pretty good.
I didn't bash all of his stuff. However,
The Happening.
The Last Airbender is like Mark Wahlberg. God damn it.
I still like Unbreakable is still one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
No, Unbreakable's good, and I think Signs is fine.
Yeah.
The Village is
meh.
It's meh. Like, it's not, but it's just like it. All of his stuff, except Unbreakable, because it's a little bit handled better. But like, I feel like all of his stuff is just like, these are really good ideas, but boy, you need a better writer. Because his directing's fine. It's the writing that's the
I
issue.
actually kind of like Devil.
I thought that was a cop-out.
Yeah, I guess what I liked more was the concept. Like, I guess with a lot of his movies, I like the concept and the idea and the structure, and then not necessarily the payoff.
And that's my issue with his stories. It's always, hey, this is a very interesting concept, and
very atmospheric.
At the last moment, yeah, and then at the last minute, it breaks its ankle, and you have to put it out like a racing horse. And it's like, a lot of people give, just while we're talking about narratives, the War of the Worlds starring Tom Cruise from Spielberg.
Right.
Very good movie. A lot of people like to shit on that movie because the last 5 minutes of it is so just not handled well. And I feel like this game's not going the same direction, but I feel like it's trying to build up to that M. Night Shyamalan twist. Maybe it doesn't. But it's like those twists. The reason why he gets flack and why the World of Worlds gets flack is because there's really no reason as to why that twist needs to exist other than just to have a twist. For the most part, like, even though they're sometimes good and sometimes bad, it's just they exist because, like, gotcha. Okay. Like, there needs to be some logical, we've sort of gone over this before, I'm just repeating myself at this point. I don't know. It's just, I feel like there's some good concepts in this, like Shyamalan's movies. There's good concepts, but this needs to be handled by someone else, clearly.
Well, it's not over just yet.
Yeah, and I guess I don't need a twist in this game. I don't even get a sense that they're necessarily building to a twist. I think they're trying to do a simpler story where he's going to come in and save the day and maybe save Sarah. And
I feel like that's possibly one of the endings, but I think this game is going to have stark contrast endings. Mm-hmm. Like, you're going to have, yay, he saved the day from an impending evil god that's going to take over the world. And then there's going to be an ending of, he's actually just a lunatic who's been locked up in a nut house the entire time, and this is all in his head.
Wildly different, not just shades.
It's going to be, it's going to be like, the dog endings in Silent Hill. Or the alien endings in Silent Hill.
I mean, aren't they the same thing at some point?
They are.
One of them games, yeah. Okay. I think a good example, speaking of Silent Hill, is the Wii one / PS2 one.
Oh yeah, Shattered Memories.
Right, where like that game drastically changes.
Yes.
Based on the player's choices.
Well,
but
not even the choices, but just certain small things that you do.
Right, and it's like that's player choice.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I should have rephrased that. It's player choice, like, not just specifically choosing in menus.
Right.
I feel like this game should have done something more like that. And maybe played like that game, too. And maybe should have just been Silent Hill.
Maybe we should have just played Silent Hill Shattered Memories.
Yeah, I would have had to track down a copy, because I've been looking for one. That's
a fantastic game.
Yeah, I'd love to play it. I know about it. I know a lot about it. But
right, it was so good. I mean, it like the game would even track what you were looking at. Like if you stared at something too long, like it would track that and then throw something at you later on.
Oh, God damn it. We should be playing that instead.
That is not a cheap game.
No, it is hard to find now.
Yep. I'd have to burn a copy for my PS2. I mean, what?
Yeah, we played on the Wii. The Wii was actually kind of cool because you had the speaker, and then on top of that, you basically controlled your flashlight
with the Wii remote.
Yeah, and when you ran away, you could still be running and then turn around and look while you were running and see something chasing you, and it was scary as hell. Yeah, that's a good one.
It just, this game I have a feeling, like, unless something so weird happens, I'm not going to be impressed by the ending. I don't know.
We'll see.
I wish I could just give you my memories of the weird shit that happens in Sinking City, and you'd be like, well, the Sinking City did this concept way better. Yeah. And is a better game. Like, the shooting in Sinking City feels good. You know, and it's always there. Like, there's always the action segments. It's not like, hey, here's some late action segments. Like, oh, thanks. Glad these are added into the game in the last 3 missions.
Well, we'll see what happens. Like I said, we do have an email. We actually have 2 emails. Both of them are from Chad. One of them is the edited version. I'm going to read them both, Chad. But he specifically said in the title, do not read if you have not finished the game. So we have not finished the game. We will save that for next week. But if anybody else out there would like to send an email, it's drew@ztgd.com. You can also tweet to us. I am at Drew Leachman. Matt is at REMGS. And the podcast itself is at ZTGD Phoenix Down. As everyone knows, our next game is going to be God of War. And I'm ready to finally put that to bed. I've started that game twice, and I'm going to restart it again. So
I've started it once. In the same boat, like looking to finish it.
Yep. And I tweeted a photo, just give it a snippet, a little taste. We'll see how everybody reacts to it, but I think we found our theme for next year. This may turn into a disastrous thing. But
you remember the year of the JRPG? How many games did you get through?
We got through about 5.
Yeah. There's...
Luckily...
There's
only 7.
Yeah.
There's only 7 games. So I did tweet a picture of the Yakuza collection because I purchased it recently.
Did you buy the physical or?
I bought the physical. Yeah, I bought the physical.
That useless PS3 case for $5. What a useless piece of shit. Just give me the fucking...
Yeah.
I'm not taking it out. Then there's an empty space in this fucking box set. What the fuck's wrong with you?
Yeah, there's only 2 discs.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I kind of want to do the Year of Yakuza next year. Because I have played 1, 2, 3, and 4. I've never played 5 or 6, and I've never played 0.
To completion, 1 through 4?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I still own my PS2 copies of Yakuza 1 and 2. Which, I mean, I'll go ahead and say we'll save it for next year too, but I got out of gaming for about 2 years there. It was in 2004 and 2005. And to go to college, and then I was at a GameStop and randomly saw Metal Gear Solid 3 and said, "Oh crap, they made a new Metal Gear Solid?" That's like, yeah, it's been out for like a year. Well, I'm buying that. And I bought it and played it, and that's what got me back into gaming. The next game I bought, Yakuza.
Oh wow.
Yep. I was deep into Yakuza whenever it first came out. And I was like, this is kind of cool. This is weird, but it's kind of cool.
I have every single English release now.
There you go.
I have finished 0 of them.
Well, there you go.
And I have Judgment and Fist of the North Star as well.
You keep throwing in Fist of the North Star.
Fist of the North Star is a Yakuza game. What do you want me to say?
It is technically a Yakuza game because it's made by
the same studio. It plays basically the same way, except there's vehicles that you can drive across the wasteland. It's Mad Max. Well, I mean, the Fist of the North Star is kind of Mad Max through a Japanese lens, but it's literally the Mad Max game, but an RPG instead.
Yeah.
Where you get out and kung fu guys till their heads explode. What do you want me to tell you, Drew? It's more fun than Yakuza because guys explode into bloody messes. I love it. He says you're already dead so many times, and I'm just like, I'm okay with this because it's a meme at this point. Like, it's just, he just turns around, faces the camera, and goes, "You're already dead," and then the guy explodes in the background. I'm like, all right.
So there's a part in, I believe, Yakuza 3, it could be 4, I can't remember, that is absolutely ridiculous. Almost like it came out of Fist of the North Star.
Dude, there's so much shit in all those games that is absolutely fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I'll probably play along with you, even if I'm not on the podcast, because I want to get those games done. You're going to get through 2 and be like, all right, man, I got to take a break.
Well, I mean, that's okay, too. We took breaks in between Metal Gears.
I know, I'm just letting you know now.
Okay. No, we'll see what happens. Like I said, it's not etched in stone just yet, but I got a hankering for some Yakuza. So, we'll see what happens. But that's it. We're going to get out of here. I appreciate everybody listening. Yeah, we'll see what does Call of Cthulhu hold for us. We'll find out, I guess. It's it could go really bad, or it could go okay. I think those are going to be the 2 reactions that we get. So, until next time, I'm Drew.
And I'm Matt.
I'm Anthony.
And we're out of here. You guys have a great week, and we'll be back next week with the conclusion of Call of Cthulhu.